So if you've never used Illustrator's gradient tool, or even if you have, it can be quite fiddly to use, and this is how to use the tool properly. This video is also sponsored by Squarespace, which is an awesome all-in-one website building platform, and we'll come back to them a bit later in the video. So here you can see I have a circle, and this can be done with any shape. I'm going to select it and then press G for the gradient tool, or you can find it over here in the toolbar, and we can click this shape and it will apply a gradient. If it doesn't, just go over to your gradient panel. You can see I've got mine docked here, and then just click anywhere on the gradient slider, and this will apply the default black to white gradient. Now at the moment we are using a linear gradient. This will go in a straight line. We also have a radial gradient that goes in a circle, and we have freeform that we'll come back to a bit later. So now if we go back to the shape, we can click and drag in any direction to apply a gradient. But this gradient slider isn't especially intuitive. You can see it's really fiddly with all these icons. This is the one you want that will adjust the length. It's like a square dashed line box thing. We can also click directly on the slider to move the gradient around, or we can carefully hover over the end until we see the rotate icon, and we can rotate the gradient in a different direction, or you can just use the gradient tool to draw it again. Now we can also adjust the position of the colors by moving these here. So I can make the black in this example a bit more dominant, or I can adjust the midpoint as well to push one color towards the other. Now, if I hover along the gradient slider, you can see I get the plus icon. Simply click to add another color, and then I can double click on this picker, and then I can apply a different color like this. And we can also adjust the opacity. So if you'd like one side of your gradient to blend into transparency, just set the opacity to 0 and it will do just that. Now remember, to edit the gradient, just press G to get the gradient tool back up. And we can also flip the gradient very quickly here using this icon in the gradient panel. Now another gradient type we've got is radial, and this will go to or from the center. So let's extend that black one out. And this behaves very similarly to linear, except it does go to or from the center, and we do get access to a couple of extra options. So if I hover over this end with the little black circle, you get the cross appear. This allows me to dictate where that central point in the gradient is going to be. And another option we've got is this circle at the top, and you can bring this down so the gradient can be more of an elliptical shape. So it is a little bit fiddly, and as I say, most of these settings you can control from this panel up here on the right. Now, before we move on to the next one, as I mentioned, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, which is a platform that is perfect for creatives, entrepreneurs and business owners, because Squarespace has all the tools you'll need in one place. Plus, as well as quickly setting up an absolute banger of a website where you can sell physical or digital products through an online store, you can take payments through Apple Pay and PayPal as well, which is just convenient for everyone. There's also plenty of website templates that are fully responsive, so you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to work on mobile. And probably my favorite feature, no, definitely my favorite feature, is Squarespace Blueprint and SEO tools. And this is like a guided design system that enables you to create a professional looking site that is completely unique and built from the ground up, whilst also being optimized for SEO, which is super important. So if you're interested, check out squarespace.com to get started with a free trial. And then when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Dansky to save 10% off your first website or domain. Okay, back to the video. And lastly, we're going to take a look at freeform gradients. So if I select this rather boring background for a website, I can go to the gradient panel, or I've got this option here, and this is freeform gradient. And this will add a bunch of random points with random colors. So you can see I can move this around, and of course I can double click them. Oh, what should we go for? Let's go for a nice tasty purple there. Some sort of yellowish color there, very nice. Now, as well as moving these around, we can actually adjust the amount of space they occupy with this icon here. So we can make the yellow in this case a bit more dominant. Oh, that is delicious. And we can drag this white off of the shape to remove it. I don't want the white. Not sure about the green. Maybe we'll pick a pinky color. Lovely. And using freeform gradients enables us to add gradients that don't really follow a particular pattern. So we can pretty much move these around and add these colors anywhere. Now, if you'd like to apply a gradient to some text, there is something that you must do first, otherwise it won't work, and that is select the text, and then go over to here and select none as the fill color, and then go over to the appearance panel, You can see I've got mine docked here on the right. If you don't see it, it will be under the window menu at the top. And we're going to need to add a new fill. So let's add that here. And then from the fill color, you can click the drop down and you have the default black to white gradient there. Now doing it this way will enable you to add a gradient to some text and keep the text fully editable. And then you can edit it from the gradient panel as you would normally. So you can see there, So that is how you add a gradient to some text. So there we go, gradient tool done. That is how you use it. If you enjoyed this video, that's great. Let me know, comment below, like, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.